What's up, everyone? I'm Harrison, and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. What is Tutorial Tuesday? Tutorial Tuesday is every single Tuesday I will be teaching you how to draw your favorite characters. And if you have not seen how to draw your favorite character yet, please let me know down below which character you'd like to see me draw. It will be added to the list. We are drawing one of my all-time favorite movie characters, Boba Fett.
You know who I am? I am Boba Fett.
I love Boba Fett. My phone case is Boba Fett. My AirPods case is Boba Fett. My Apple Watch screen is Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. He's just one of the coolest, just most unique, cool characters that there is on the screen. Just the fact that he doesn't talk. He's a gunslinger. He's got a jetpack. He's my favorite. I love him. Now today, I'm going to teach you how to draw him. So grab your pencils, pens, markers, and paper or sketchbook, and let's dive on in. Today's version of Boba Fett is going to be in the 3/4 pose. His head is kind of cocked like this. So just know that it's not going to be a front-on drawing. Now to start, let's begin with a nice big soft circle. Keep it nice and loose. No need to press too hard on the pencil. Most likely we'll be erasing these lines sometime soon. Now, because Boba Fett is wearing a helmet, we need to add some nice fun shapes. At the bottom of that circle, we can add a nice long line to indicate the bottom of his helmet. On the circle that is facing inward, let's add a line for the faceplate, and then we can connect that line and round it off for the top of the helmet. And on the back side, it's more of a rounded straightaway. It's kind of like an upside down J, if you will, and we can just connect all of those lines. Now remember, we're still in our planning phase. Nothing is permanent. Some of these choices can change in the future. But once we have the helmet sketched out, we can add the neck. Now, we want the back of the neck to follow the same line that the helmet is in, so that will be more of a straight line, and then the part under the chin will just be kind of curved inward. We can put his head on his armor, just draw a straight line across, and then round out those pectoral muscles. And then we can indicate his back. We can now drop in some of his armored paneling. And for this, I did have a reference photo, but feel free to make his armor your own. It's comprised of a few different panels, and I just kind of wung it based on things that I've seen in the past, stuff that I thought was cool based on specific iterations of costumes that he wore. And then in between that space, let's add his shoulder and his shoulder pauldron, and we'll get back to the detail in a few minutes. And then behind him on his back is his jetpack, my favorite part. Let's go ahead and add that. And we can't forget about the massive rocket that's on it. We have to have that. My photo reference did not have his rocket, but I felt that the piece needed something on that side to balance everything out. So I figured, let's put the rocket. We can't not have his massive rocket there anyway. Now let's jump back into the helmet. We're gonna really define that line. We now know that that is exactly where we want the helmet to be, and we can start defining the silhouette of his helmet. Let's drop that cutout for the visor. We can now go in and add the visor. It's kind of like an elongated T shape.
Well, my face is a big letter T. I forget the point. I forgot the point.
Now for the cheek plate, it kind of mimics the shape of the helmet. It's a long sloping arc attached to a line, and then just beside that is his earpiece. Now because of the angle that he is facing, we do want to make it a little bit more three-dimensional, so it looks like it's actually coming off the helmet, not just sitting there with no 3D to it. We can add the vents on the back and then drop the line across the top, just the division of the top and the bottom. And then just on the other side of the helmet, we can indicate his antenna. And then on the front of it, we can add his signature helmet dent. Just below his helmet dent, let's draw a nice long rectangle and add in all of the stripes that are on his helmet. I don't know what those stripes are, but my guess would be it's the amount of bounties he's collected. We can add the 2 arrows on the front of his helmet. Now we can go throughout the piece and give form and shape to specific areas that we haven't focused on yet. In his visor, we can shade in everything that will be stark black and leave white things that are going to be reflective. We can drop in shading anywhere else that will be black, like on his neck, in between the armor, around his shoulders. Now we can't forget to add the mythosaur skull on his shoulder pauldron. So let's go ahead and add that in now. For this, I really needed the reference because it is such a specific shape that I didn't want to get it wrong. Never be afraid to use reference photos or anything that will help you get a more accurate depiction of the character or person that you're trying to draw. It'll just help you have a more completed drawing, knowing that you didn't just randomly take something and try to just guess what it would be. Now we're going to be jumping into inking, and if you are not new to Tutorial Tuesday, you know that I love to use my dip pen and brush, and today we will be doing just that. But fret not, my dear friends, you can still ink using Sharpie, fine liner, or ballpoint pen. You just have to go back over specific lines to achieve certain thicknesses. If you want to follow along with me and use dip pen, links will be down below so you can get your very own. Just a friendly reminder, if you are inking, always start left to right unless you are left-handed, which you will start right to left. That way, you don't smudge your drawing. Now, inking Boba Fett is very straightforward. There are certain areas that will be emphasized with thicker lines, but for the most part, because he is wearing armor, it is really crisp and clean. So I wanted these lines to be very thin and precise, like this armor was constructed. As always, keep in mind that your inks should be very deliberate and purposeful. Make sure if you're making curved movements, they're very quick and precise. We don't want our inks to look sketchy or jagged. Sometimes though, you can't get away from that just due to the nature of the size of the details or how the character you're portraying looks. Now today I am doing something a little different. I am not using my dip brush, but I am using a brush pen. This pen already has ink built into it, and it acts just as a regular dip brush would be. I just wanted to try something a little different. It flows just the same as if I was dipping my brush into the inkwell. I just haven't had enough practice with this new pen. I thought this would be a good use for the practice. And as always, before you start filling in these bigger areas, make sure that your inks have dried. Wait about 20 to 30 minutes. And that goes for if you're using Sharpie as well. Sometimes Sharpie does smudge depending on the type of paper, so it's just safer to wait a few extra minutes for your inks to set and dry. Now we're on to one of the last steps of the drawing, and that is to erase. Again, wait 20 to at least 30 minutes before you take an eraser to your page. The last thing you want to do is to have your eraser smudge ink across your whole piece. It's just better to wait. Trust me, you don't want anything getting ruined with this last step. Today I'm using a kneaded eraser. I don't really have a preference between kneaded or plastic. It's just dependent on how thick the pencil lead is put down on the page. If you need a more aggressive eraser, the big plastic eraser usually does the trick, but I find that the kneaded eraser works just as well as any other eraser and can pick up lead, no problem. So just as we were finishing, I jumped back in with ink. Why did I do that? Well, as you probably noticed, his helmet was really oddly shaped, and I didn't realize until I stood up, waited for the ink to dry, and looked at the picture. As I was drawing, my page was flat on the table like this. Typically, I would draw with the image facing me so I have a better angle on my drawing, but here I decided it was going to be better to be just flat across my table. So the curvature of his helmet got skewed because of the way I was looking at my page, and I thought it was good, and then I didn't realize until I stood up how just wonky it looked. So what I decided to do, instead of using a lot of whiteout, was to just add a background to Boba Fett. And I used my brush and ink to fill in the background, and that pretty much took care of the problem. You can see there are still a few lines connected to the helmet that kind of go into the background, but it's really not a big deal. Just remember, when you're drawing, when you're using ink, things do happen. You might not always see the problem right then and there. You kind of have to back away and really look at the drawing, turn it upside down, look at it in a mirror. I always love to take a step back from my piece and really look at it before I say it's done, just in case something like this comes up. We could fix it. It's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. If a mistake happens, it happens. You can always fix it. And then don't be afraid to start over if something really happens. It's okay. Just think of it as practice and lessons learned, what not to do moving forward. And there we have it, my friends. Boba Fett. I really like this drawing. I think it looks really cool, despite having to go back in and change a few things. I really like the way it turned out with the nice dark background. It really makes me pop off the page. If you liked today's Tutorial Tuesday and found the lessons helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and then hit that bell notification so you know when I post the next Tutorial Tuesday. If for some reason you did not like this video, please let me know in the comments why. Was I going too fast? Not fast enough? Too slow? Was I not using certain techniques you were hoping to find or learn? Please let me know down in the comments so I can adjust the videos to help better suit your needs. If there is a specific character you would like to learn how to draw, also drop that in the comments so I can add that to the list and then teach you how to draw some of your favorite characters. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a blast. I certainly did. And until next time, keep drawing, keep practicing, fill up those sketchbooks. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Next.